Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Aces High, and today I'm bringing you guys something a little different. It's, before we get into our next series, which I did decide the next one's going to be Alexander the Great, we still have a few more single videos I want to watch. A lot of you have been asking for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of England. So let's watch it. I've never seen it. I know it's an older video, so I scoured around and I found one that was kind of remastered in color and has a clearer sound to it, which I thought was kind of cool. It's still not the best quality. Normally I don't watch my videos ahead of time, but I watched about, I don't know, 30 seconds or so just to make sure it was decent quality, you know. Um, and it looks all right. It's about 16 minutes long, so it seems like it's going to be kind of the whole process from start to finish. But I'm really excited to check it out. This is actually a video from British Movie Lore. They seem like a pretty cool channel, and I might be coming back to them for some more British type videos soon. I do have one question for you guys, though, before I start the video. How many of you were at the coronation? And how many of you had parents that were at the coronation? I'm just wondering. Let me know in the comments if you were. Thanks. Anyway, let's get started. Day of days was when the queen was crowned. Okay.
Leaving her home on what must surely be the greatest day of her life, Queen Elizabeth drives to her coronation. All night through, indeed longer than that, crowds have waited for this moment as the golden coach appears in view for the first time. The long planning, the careful rehearsals, the flurry of preparations, all have reached their fruition in this dramatic opening of a dramatic and historic occasion.
I'm I'm sorry, but I just gotta say they'll show it again in a second. But that the golden carriage, as they put it, or whatever they called it, that thing's impressive. I mean, come on, that just screams royalty. Does somebody know? Is it painted gold? Is it gold plated? Obviously, it's not solid gold or anything. That'd be ridiculous. But yeah, let me know if you guys know. Look at that thing. Wow.
Imagine, if you can, our young queen's feelings, as with her husband beside her, she is slowly borne towards the hours-long ceremony of pomp, circumstance, and dedication.
So it's a little tough to see it in there, but they just said Prince Philip's in there with her.
Consecrating her as queen of all the nations and all the races over which she holds sovereignty. Preceded by her guards and escorted by her cavalry, she drives through cheering crowds down the gaily decorated avenue of the Mall.
Oh yeah, I just saw both their arms. How old was she at this point? Wow. Look at all those soldiers. Or guard, I guess is what it would be. Guard, cavalry, something. Yeah, the cavalry's behind her, guard on the side. Wow. See, this feeling. Could you imagine in America we change presidents every 4 years. If they run again and get elected again, they can have a second term another 4 years. That's 8 years maximum before you see a new president and you hear them speak for the first time and you want to see them and just all of that. I can't imagine the feeling when it only comes, maybe twice in a lifetime, 3 times maximum.
And so, on past Admiralty Arch and through Trafalgar Square, perhaps the focal point of London's affectionate homage to its queen. The great procession passed this spot 3 times, and those of the crowd who didn't get a good view now had 2 more chances later on.
Okay, wait, what? Why would they pass it 3 times? I understand they go in, they do the coronation, they come out. What's the 3rd time?
Down Northumberland Avenue to the embankment, where the streets were lined with wildly cheering schoolchildren.
Oh, wow.
What a spectacle of colour and pageantry it was as the head of the Queen's procession approached the abbey. Scarlet and gold and blue, set off by the pale spring green of the trees and the multicoloured panorama of the rejoicing crowds. A queen was coming to her crowning, and her people, love and affection overfilling their hearts, added their voices to the martial music and the pealing of bells.
Oh, I hear the bells, that's cool.
On the steps of the specially built annex, the Earl Marshal of England stands ready to receive his sovereign. From the roaring of the multitude into the quiet solemnity of the great abbey steps Her Majesty. The moment of coronation is nigh. Uplifting, inspiring strains of music and a vast and varied congregation of guests await the Queen as she passes up the nave of the great cathedral. And the cry, "Vivat," rings out from the scholars of Westminster School. The peers of the realm, including Prince Philip, are already in their places.
Okay, so Prince
Queen
Philip
moves
isn't walking
past
with
them on her way to the chair of his state, which he is to occupy for the early part of the ceremony.
Who are these guys? I guess these are what, handmaids holding up her... Is that what you call them? The people that follow behind and hold up the, I don't know, it's not a cape. I feel bad for not knowing these terms. But who are these old guys? Are they, I mean, are they priests? Are they just people of parliament? Or what? Oh, she looks nervous.
The first necessary step in the traditional ritual is that the Queen should be accepted by the people. The Archbishop of Canterbury addresses the congregation.
Sirs, I here present unto you Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted Queen. Wherefore all you who are come this day to do your homage and service, are you willing to do the same?
The people have recognized their sovereign, and now the Archbishop administers the coronation oath.
Madam, is your Majesty willing to take the oath?
I am willing.
Will you solemnly promise and swear to govern the peoples of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Union of South Africa, Pakistan, and Ceylon,
Pakistan?
and of your...
I didn't know Pakistan fell underneath the Queen, or even at that time, you know? I really didn't know that. Also, I've got a question. Has anybody ever said no? Like, are you willing to take on your role? And they just say no? No, I am not.
your possession and the other territories to any of them belonging or pertaining, according to their respective laws and customs.
I solemnly promise so to do.
The promise is sealed at a faldstool before the altar. The Queen kisses the book and signs the form of oath.
You know, it's going to be a truly sad day when she passes. I mean, I don't know much about the royal family, but I mean, my whole life before me, basically, most of my dad's life, she's been queen.
The Bible itself is then presented to her by the moderator of the Church of Scotland.
Here is wisdom, this is the royal law, these are the lively oracles of God.
The Queen's crimson robe is removed.
Was she get a new one?
A canopy of cloth of gold is brought forward by 4 Knights of the Garter
Okay.
as she takes her seat in King Edward's chair. And here, in the most mysterious of the rites of coronation, the Archbishop anoints her with holy oil and consecrates her to her great office.
Really?
When the congregation again see their queen,
I didn't realize that that this was such a religious affair. I didn't. I mean, is it like that for every king and queen of England? What about if they have a different religion? Are they allowed to have a different religion? Now I'm kind of curious.
the character of this consecration is symbolized by arraying her in vestments resembling those of a priest. The sword of state is brought from the altar to be delivered to the Queen. Presently she rises and carries it back to the altar in token of submission of her authority to God. Now the majestic emblem of the robe royal is placed around her shoulders, enveloping her in gold.
I'm sorry for all the static, you guys. It's a really old video, and this one seemed like it had pretty solid audio. Like I said, I tried watching the first 30 seconds or so of several of them, and this one seemed to have the best audio, so I went with it.
She receives the orb, symbol of the dominion of the cross over the world, and the two scepters, one with the cross, the other with the dove. The last and grandest symbol of all is the crown of St. Edward. It is blessed by the Archbishop at the altar.
Oh. Is that Edward, Edward? Like, I think it's Edward the First. The first, quote-unquote, first king of England? Like, after Wessex, it was East Anglia, or West Anglia. No, Westphalia, Wessex, Northumbria, and East Anglia, I think, were the four. He was the king that, when they all combined into England, he was the first king of England, right? Is that the same Edward for that crown?
The climax of the ceremony has arrived, when the Archbishop gently sets this splendid emblem on the Queen's head.
Oh, he's kind of blocking the shot.
And the trumpets sound.
What did they say? Long live the Queen. That's cool. What year was this?
The crowned Queen now moves from King Edward's chair to mount her throne, which is set back in the middle of the theatre. Having made her promises to her people, it is the turn of her people to make their promises of allegiance to her. First, the Archbishop pays his homage. Among the lay lords, the first to declare himself is her own husband, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Rising,
Oh, wow.
he kisses the Queen's cheek and touches the Queen's crown in token of his readiness to help her bear its burden. After him comes the Queen's uncle, the Duke of Gloucester. Homage is likewise paid by the senior peer in each degree, swearing faith and truth to bear unto the Queen, to live and die against all manner of folks.
You know what always
The
seemed
whole
kind
ceremony
of
has
odd?
been enacted within the framework of a communion service. And now, the Queen leaves her throne to take the sacrament.
You know what always seemed kind of odd to me when I think of Great Britain and everything, and any English people, British people, let me know what you think, what your answer would be. But you still have a queen, and I know you could turn around and say, well, you still have a president. The president doesn't. You have Congress that's really making your laws and all that. Just like you guys have, like I'm about to say, you guys have your Parliament, right? I mean, doesn't the Queen not really have much power anymore? On the opposite side, like if you look at our president, sure, he may not have that much power, but they can still do executive orders, and it's supposed to be like a third of the power. Our power is supposed to be split between the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch equally, so that the other two can keep one in check if it goes astray or something like that. So, I mean, does she really have much power anymore, or is it more of a symbol, I guess, a symbol of the power of your country?
This is not to be photographed, but in humility and piety, she draws near to the altar to receive it in company with her husband at the hands of the Archbishop. So, the ceremony ended. After a short pause, processions are formed for the departure from the abbey. The Queen, now arrayed in royal purple and wearing the imperial state crown, leaves the chapel to the strains of the national anthem. With the scepter in...
I think that's the first time I've ever heard the British national anthem. As odd as that might sound, I've probably heard it like playing Civ, Sid Meier's Civilization, or something like that. But like I could tell you Canada, hell, I could sing Canada. I know most of the words. I could tell you Mexico, of course the U.S., and I guess that's just because they're so close to me. But yeah, I don't think I've ever honestly heard the British national anthem before.
In her right hand, and in her left hand the orb, Queen Elizabeth II passes from the abbey, consecrated and dedicated to her life work by the solemn and hallowed ritual of coronation.
That's cool. She still looks stressed. Or nervous.
The crowning over, the Queen emerges to find that the weather had been unkind. But in spite of the gloom and the wet, Her Majesty looked radiant as she moved to the coach. The rain certainly didn't damp the enthusiasm of the crowds as they watched the procession. Men from all corners of the Commonwealth, men of all races and creeds, marching in honor of their Queen.
Wow. So from different countries of the Commonwealth as well? Very cool.
And there was a special cheer for Sir Winston and his charming wife as they passed through Trafalgar Square. But apart from the Queen herself, the biggest welcome was undoubtedly for the Queen Mother, driving with Princess Margaret, on a day which must have held for her proud, poignant memories of her own coronation.
Oh, wow.
Prince Charles and Princess Anne watched enthralled as the troops swung down the Mall around the Victoria Memorial. What a gay, colourful pageant. What a demonstration of heartfelt rejoicing in which all countries owing allegiance to Her Majesty took part.
That's cool. They're able to all come together like that. That's actually really, really cool.
from Canada, the Mounties, brilliant in their scarlet tunics, capturing the imagination of young and old alike.
That's cool. Wow, a bunch of Mounties get to come over. That's really cool. That means Australia's probably there. Everybody.
And the men and women of the services, marching splendidly, as befitted so great an occasion. But now the moment of moments arrives, resplendent in the regalia with which she had been invested so solemnly. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, with her consort beside her, concludes her royal progress.
Okay. That's still such a cool carriage.
As this day draws to its close, I know that my abiding memory of it will be not only the solemnity and beauty of the ceremony, but the inspiration of your loyalty and affection. I thank you all from a full heart. God bless you all.
Wow. Oh, everybody wants to see her. That's cool.
The final scene. The royal family assembled together on the palace balcony to receive the acclamation of their subjects and the Air Force's salute on Coronation
Jesus,
Day.
the royal family? She already had all those kids at that point? Sorry, they're all gone now, but wow. Oh, yeah, no, okay. Oh, look at that.
And so, this day of days most memorable comes to an end. And with it begins a new era, the new Elizabethan age, an age in which the love and faith and hope of all the Commonwealth rest on the slim shoulders of the beautiful Queen who has just been crowned.
That's cool.
Long may she reign.
Oh, I might watch this in the future. Elizabeth and Philip's wedding, that's kind of cool. Let's have a chat about that, you guys. That was actually really, really interesting. I learned a lot of things. I didn't think there would be so much religion in the ceremony, but I guess it definitely makes sense. Also, it really made me think about, what about when she dies? People in Great Britain seem to be really heartbroken right now about Prince Philip's passing. Imagine when the Queen dies. It's something that it'll really hit the country hard. It'll hit the world hard, probably, but more so that region. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to thank I had two different people ask me specifically for this, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, and I just want to thank you guys. Yeah, thanks a lot. Till next time, this is Ace Asai, and I'm out.